Conservative new media viewers and JLin fans around the world, what is up? It's me, PFE, Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. We are here to talk about Houston's 96-83 victory tonight over the visiting Charlotte Bobcats in the first game of the 2013-2014 regular season. Now, this is going to be the long video about the game. We made a short video about the game earlier tonight. If you want to check that out, or you don't have time for the long video, then we encourage you to go check that out. I'll put information about it in the video description below the video player so you can check it out. Today was the first game of the Dwight Howard era in the regular season for the Houston Rockets. And before I get started, I want to thank Gary Chen of the Jeremy-only Lynn Garden fan club for the artwork you're looking at right now. I will throw some information about Gary in the video description as well as soon as I can. Obviously, Gary's a phenomenal artist, as you can see. He is an artist and blogger who is very popular in Taiwan. And we certainly appreciate that he did this artwork for us. Again, Lynn Garden's been great to us. All of Jeremy's fans have been great to us, so we really appreciate that. Okay, Jeremy came off the bench in this game. As we've noted before, Patrick Beverley is currently the starter for the Houston Rockets. Jeremy played very well in this game. Really well. And we've got plenty to say about that. Patrick hurt his rib in this game. Apparently, he pulled a rib muscle. It's not a good feeling, although it is now being reported by Patrick himself that he will play in the next game, which is 2 days from now on Friday against the Dallas Mavericks. Because of the rib injury, and I didn't see it. I don't remember when it took place. I'd have to see the video again. Patrick played only 10 minutes in this game. Dwight Howard had 26 rebounds tonight, which is incredible. That ties a career high for him. He dominated in this game. The twin towers of Howard and Ashik dominated the rebounding battle tonight. Houston had 54 rebounds against 37 rebounds for Charlotte. That's a great formula for success for a team. If you can just own the glass like that, glass meaning the backboard, that's, people talk about rebounding or getting rebounds, they will say doing well on the glass, just meaning you're getting balls that are coming off of the backboard. James Harden struggled a bit in this game, apparently due to a bad back, a little trouble with his back. He did have a very good fourth quarter in this game. Finally, the Houston bench in total came through very big in this game and really helped to get this victory. Okay, let's look at the statistics. Patrick Beverley, 5 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist in 10 minutes. Shot 2 of 4 from the field, including 1 of 3 from three-point range. 0 of 0 from the free throw line. No steals, no block shots, 2 turnovers, no fouls. Plus minus was +4. And the efficiency was 3. Jeremy had 16 points, no rebounds, and 2 assists. He played 31 minutes, shot 5 of 7 from the field, including 2 of 2 from three-point range, 4 of 6 from the free throw line, no steals, no block shots, 2 turnovers, 2 personal fouls. His plus minus was a +1. And his efficiency was 12. James Harden had 21 points and 5 assists, also had 5 turnovers. Dwight Howard had 17 points, 26 rebounds. His efficiency number was 34. which was just massive. I'm sure that was the best in the game. Omer Asik, 4 points, 14 rebounds. Francisco Garcia came off the bench along with Jeremy and had 19 points. So he was big in this game, as was Jeremy. For the Bobcats, starting point guard Kemba Walker had 12 points, 2 rebounds, 5 assists in 35 minutes, had a 15 efficiency. Ramon Sessions, the backup point guard, who also played some shooting guard for the team, had 14 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, and an 8 efficiency number. Okay, let's talk more about Jeremy now. Jeremy had the most points of any guard in this game. His efficiency was second to Kemba Walker, although I believe Kemba took a lot more shots. This was the first game that Jeremy came off the bench in Houston in the regular season. He did come off the bench in the playoffs against the Oklahoma City Thunder after he returned from the chest contusion injury that he suffered. But this was the first time that he did not start for the Rockets in a regular season game. Jeremy played great in this game. We talked about in the Memphis game, which was the last preseason game, that Jeremy played very under control. He played low risk. And that's the way that he played tonight. And the way that I refer to this is he played like a system point guard. He played in a way that Houston seems to want to use their point guard, at least the way they want to use a point guard now that they have Dwight Howard and James Harden, which basically means you play Houston style. You spot up on the perimeter, you let James Harden handle the ball, and you hit open shots. And that's what Jeremy did in this game. And when there's an opportunity there, you take it, but you don't force much. You're not the person that's going to be called upon to score a lot. I thought Jeremy played tremendous in that style. And that's how he needs to play on this team, because that's the way the team and the coaching staff wants him to play. And as we've talked about many times in these videos, Jeremy is going to grow as a player by playing this style. So even if you don't like seeing him play this way, or he's not comfortable with this style, this is going to help him become a better and more complete player. So even though I would like to see the ball in his hands more, maybe running a bit more pick and roll, I'm actually kind of happy to see him play like this, because I know it's going to improve his overall capabilities as a player. And he's good at it. What he showed in this game and the Memphis game was he doesn't have to have a whole bunch of turnovers. Oh, he's going to always have turnovers. That's what we hear from the doubters. Well, I guess not. I don't think he had any turnovers in the Memphis game. Well, he didn't play that much, but he had no turnovers. And he had 2 turnovers tonight, and they were relatively close, I thought. They were almost not turnovers. At least one of them certainly was. He can play this style. And for him to condition his mind to play like this is good. And he's going to get more playing time because this is the way that McHale and the team wants him to play. And so you can kind of see that he's figuring it out. And that's good. He needs to be able to play in this style the same way that he needs to be able to play in a fast style. But he already knows how to play in a fast style. So now he's working on playing in a slower style and with the ball not in his hands. Great. That will pay off for him down the line in his career. The same way that learning to be a better three-point shooter is going to pay off for him down the line. Now, I want to talk to you guys, and this is something I need to talk about to go forward in this video, I want to talk to you about a statistic known as usage rate. Usage rate basically means how many plays are run for you on a team. So a player with a high usage rate is a guy that's taking a bunch of shots or getting the ball a lot and trying to take shots or getting fouled going for a shot, this type of thing. Jeremy's usage rate in this game was low. It was very low compared to what it was last year or compared to what it was during Linsanity. And he's going to play more like this because this is the way the team wants him to play. You can see that. Although when he's coming off the bench with the bench unit, his usage rate might go up somewhat. The reason why I bring this up is because when the usage rate goes down, a lot of times your efficiency goes down and your scoring goes down. So Jeremy had no rebounds and only 2 assists. So you might look at it and say, well, he didn't pass much. He didn't do much. No, the ball wasn't in his hands a whole bunch. So if you don't have the ball in your hands, you can't do a lot. And so it's important to understand that and to be able to know that statistic and look at it to kind of compare one guy to another. One guy might be getting tons of shot attempts and have the ball in his hands all the time. Another guy might get the ball very little and have few shot attempts, but their statistics might look similar, but it's not the same thing. And so I think Jeremy's efficiency numbers are likely to go down now. But it's understandable given that his usage rate looks like it's going to go down. So I just want to tell people that if his overall numbers go down a little bit, this is the reason why. And you guys see it in the game, which is to say he's not getting the ball a whole bunch and other players are. And I will tell you, I'm actually kind of okay with that right now. This goes back to the point before. Jeremy needs to become more disciplined as a player on offense. He needs to not force shots. He needs to not force passes that become turnovers. So this is going to help him. And as he develops more shots, as he gets more runners and floaters and a teardrop, and his three-point shot gets better, then you start upping the usage rate. So this is not a bad thing, even though it seems unfair. They're not giving him the ball. They're not letting him shoot. You want the players that are the most efficient to shoot the most. James Harden is a very efficient player. Dwight Howard shoots a very high field goal percentage. Those are the guys that you're going to have take the most shots. So what I'm telling you is, as annoying as this might seem in the short term, it's actually going to help Jeremy in the long term. And it's going to help his statistics in terms of turnovers and this type of thing. This is a very typical thing for young point guards. They have to the coaches rein them in, tell them to shoot less, and be more careful with the ball, this type of thing. So this isn't just McHale. And this will help Jeremy, as frustrated as it might seem right now. So Jeremy only had 3 mistakes in this game, or things we can qualify as mistakes in the statistics. One of his shot attempts was a left-handed layup that was a little bit forced. It wasn't a bad shot. Jeremy was going from right to left, and he just didn't quite have the angle, and it ended up being not a very close miss. That's a shot that in the future he's probably not going to want to take, but it wasn't terrible. But again, be efficient. Be efficient. Jeremy's extremely aggressive, and that's good. But learn to be a little bit more discerning and selective about when you shoot. And that's going to help Jeremy out, especially until you develop some more shots around the rim. If you know a shot blocker's back there, don't try to go and drive and do it. Wait until the shot blocker is substituted out of the game, then attack the rim. These types of things. This applies to all players and at all levels. The other two mistakes were the turnovers. I actually missed one of the turnovers because I was taking notes at the time. Jeremy was trying to get the ball into Dwight Howard in the second half. I just didn't get to see it. But the other turnover was Jeremy looking to make a pass to James Harden in the fourth quarter, I believe. And it wasn't a bad pass. But you can still improve on that a little bit. A lot of Jeremy's turnovers come when he's trying to make passes in the lane, in the little rectangle area by the basket. Be careful of that. Jeremy can learn if that's where a lot of your turnovers are, don't try to do stuff down there. And he is definitely getting better at this. He is definitely getting better at this. The same way that his ball handling, we don't even talk about his ball handling anymore, which shows you how much he's improved it. He will be able to improve similarly with his turnovers and decision making. So those are the only mistakes he made. He played great in this game. And as I mentioned on Twitter, while I was waiting to begin making this video, because I was waiting on an order of food, his defense was excellent in this game. And I know a number of you said this in the comments, because I went and looked in the comments already of the video John made and the short video I made. When Kemba Walker started this game against Patrick Beverley, he was going right by Patrick Beverley. And I'm not saying that to make Patrick look bad. We have to tell the truth here. Kemba didn't have any problems with Patrick, or very few. That wasn't the case when Jeremy was on it. Jeremy did a much better job on Kemba Walker than Patrick did, I thought. Now, Jeremy had a couple of plays against Ramon Sessions where Ramon got him. Ramon is incredibly fast. He's one of the quickest players in the league in terms of making a move. And his speed is also good, but he's extremely quick at making moves. Jeremy still did a good job against him. Ramon got a couple, maybe got a shot and a couple of free throws. But Jeremy's defense in this game was fantastic. And look, Patrick only played 10 minutes. And to be very honest with you, I thought Patrick was a little bit nervous. He's never started an NBA game in the regular season. I'm not here to put down Patrick Beverley. This is pretty typical. The same way that it was typical for Jeremy in the playoffs last year, that he'd never been in the playoffs, and maybe it's not going to go great the first time around. So Patrick didn't play poorly. It just he didn't play to the level that I think a lot of people are used to seeing him play at. And I'll say more about that in a second. If Jeremy plays like this, this is it. Again, regardless of whatever the Rockets decide to do with him, he's going to be in great shape. He's going to be in great shape and have a really good chance to start again for the Rockets or for somebody else. He played efficient, played smart, he played restrained. And that's what this team wants him to do. I watched some of the Laker game tonight. Mike D'Antoni, wide open offense, shoot, 7 seconds or less, meaning 7 seconds or less into the shot clock, you shoot. Well, Jeremy's not playing that. It's not the same coaching staff. They don't play the same way. So you got to fit in with what they want you to do. And Jeremy's starting to do that, and that's what he did tonight. I knew in the Memphis game, if he plays like this, a lot of good things are going to be coming, and that's what happened tonight. And he had tons of blown assists in this game. At least 4. So his assist numbers could have been even better. He played great. He's really starting to understand how he needs to play in this system so that the coaches are happy with him and that he's most efficient. And I'm thrilled. It's great to see. Jeremy hit both of his three-pointers tonight. Remember the knock on him. He can't spot up and shoot. He's not a good shooter. Blah, 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 blah. Well, looked like a pretty good shooter tonight. He had no hesitation on either of the shots. You can see he's more confident in his shot. He was in rhythm. What that means is you get good form on your shot. You catch the ball, you get exactly the type of form that you want on your shot, as opposed to maybe you catch the ball and defenders all over you and you have to hurry the shot or rush the shot. That wasn't what happened with Jeremy. Both of his shots were in perfect rhythm. Great release. Bang. This is what he can do. We know how his three-point shooting improved in the second half of the season last year once his knee healed and got strong all the way. Well, great start tonight. He's clearly improving, and we saw the results of that tonight in a variety of different ways. As I said about Patrick, and coming back to this, look, again, I don't want to run down Patrick Beverley. I sent a tweet out before the game to Patrick and to Jeremy and to our followers just saying, look, Patrick, we all support you. We want you to do well. And this is, and I mean that from Lin fans. So we don't want to just raise up Jeremy by trashing Patrick. It's just not productive, but it's not fair to Patrick. On the other hand, or however, Patrick was okay in this game, but he wasn't great. He wasn't at the level that I think people thought he was going to be at. Now, again, he did get hurt, and I do think he was probably a bit nervous in this game. But he's not going to be able to, almost certainly in my mind, play at the level that people saw him play at last year, whether it was in the regular season, whether it was in the playoffs. Why is that? One, teams are going to scout him more. They're going to know what he can and can't do, and they're going to start looking to limit him. He didn't really go through that last year. That will reduce your effectiveness. I don't care who you are. It's going to take down your effectiveness. Number two, and this was true in the preseason, and I mentioned this one or two times in videos then, Patrick's playing a little bit less intense defense right now than he played last year. And I think the reason why he's doing that is because he doesn't want to foul out of games. If you're going to be the starter, you can't pick up 4 fouls in a hurry, or else you're not going to play very many minutes. Well, Patrick's style is so aggressive that he's not used to playing a different way than that. And for him to avoid fouls, he really has to back off of guys. That's what I thought happened against Kemba Walker tonight. There was one point in time where Patrick almost stole the ball against, I believe it was Kemba Walker. Might have been Ramon Sessions. other than that, he really wasn't up on his guy. And again, people thought that what Patrick did and Patrick destroys Drew Holiday and was going to be the norm. No, it isn't. And I'm not saying that to put down Patrick Beverley. I'm saying that because that's reality. Nobody can play like that game in and game out for 40 minutes. It's just not possible. Not without fouling out anyway. And so you're going to see a leveling off of Patrick Beverley's effectiveness, particularly on the defensive end, and honestly on the offensive end too. Patrick shot like 50% from the field and 50% from three-point range in the preseason. That's not likely to continue, particularly from three-point range. So again, let's support Patrick Beverley, but let's be realistic about where things are at. Jeremy's not going to shoot 2 for 2 or 100% from three-pointers every night either. But I think that this game might be a little bit of a wake-up call for the people that had this idea that Patrick was Superman or that Patrick was so much better than Jeremy. I don't think that's true. And you saw a little bit of that tonight. And my guess is you're going to see more of it, the same way that we saw it when Patrick was playing against Reggie Jackson in the playoffs last year. Patrick's a great player, but he's not Michael Jordan. He has certain limitations. He has things he's good at. He has things he's not as good at, the same way that Jeremy does. So I don't want people to put unrealistic expectations on Patrick Beverley. That's not really fair. Look, James Harden is going to run the offense. We already knew that, but that was very clear tonight. And that's what the team wants to do. That's what it's going to be. So we can complain about it, and that's fine. But that's how it's going to go, which is probably why they're bringing Jeremy off the bench, because Jeremy's good at running the offense too, so you might as well do it when James Harden's not on the floor also. You know, we saw James Harden looking off Jeremy, looking off Patrick. He's going to have the ball in his hands, even if it turns into 5 turnovers, and even if it turns into ISO brick. That's what it's going to be. So that's what it is right now. Do I think that's the best offense to run? Yeah. Given all of the percentages, all of them, it probably is the best one until Jeremy can cut down on his turnovers a little bit more. Do I think Jeremy's a better playmaker than James Harden? Yes. But he does need to cut down on his turnovers more. And if James Harden's going to the rim, he might get a turnover. But he also might get a dunk, and he also might get free throws. So he has more that he can do than Jeremy can do, even though Jeremy's a better playmaker than James. James has more offensive ability than Jeremy does. And that's probably not going to change, although Jeremy can narrow the gap by continuing to improve his game. So percentage-wise, it's probably best for Harden to run the offense. It would be good for the team and for James himself, though, if he cuts down on ISO turnover ball somewhat. Share the ball a little bit more. That would be my suggestion. And look, if James is playing the offense and you get a bunch of turnovers and Patrick's maybe you're seeing some of his limitations, well, it'll probably become clearer sooner rather than later the value of Jeremy Lin. So even if you're not happy about Jeremy not
starting, and I don't think any of us is happy about that, that's watching this video, or not most of you anyway, then it might become clearer that that might not be the best strategy fairly soon. So I would tell you to hang in there. We will see. Okay, let's do quarter by quarter here. Look, I'm not going to go through all this stuff, but again, very early in this game, Kemba Walker was going right at Patrick Beverley and doing well in the first 4 minutes of this game. Patrick came back well. He came back. He hit a three-point shot. He got an offensive rebound and a follow-up layup, which was great. That was terrific. So Kemba started well. Patrick came back strong. Then, the middle of the first, he almost had a steal. But soon after that, Kemba again came back and scored on Patrick. So at this point in the game, it was Kemba Walker 6 points and Patrick Beverley 5 points. And again, look, Patrick did well. But if the concept is that Patrick's being put in the game for a defensive purpose or to set a defensive tempo, I don't think that necessarily happened tonight with the way that Kemba Walker was able to do very early in this game. Jeremy came into the game with, I believe it was about 6 minutes and 1 second left in the first quarter. The score was 9-8 in favor of Charlotte. And I was surprised that this move was made as quickly as it was. I would have thought Patrick would have played a little bit longer, but maybe Patrick had tweaked his rib already, or maybe Mikhail didn't like what he saw. We know that Mikhail will make changes if he wants to do that, or if he doesn't think someone's doing as well as he wants them to do. So I can't really tell you the thinking behind that. Soon after Jeremy came in the game, there were 2 straight turnovers by the Rockets. James Harden had a turnover that turned into, I believe, either a Kemba Walker or Ramon Sessions layup. So it really didn't have anything to do with Jeremy. James Harden turned the ball over, and Kemba Walker, I believe it was, got a breakaway layup. Even though, if you look at the box score, it'll say, well, Kemba scored while Jeremy was on the floor. Well, not really. I mean, it really didn't have much to do with Jeremy on that play. So James had that turnover. Dwight Howard then had a turnover. And look, this is the type of thing where a guy can have a bad plus-minus rating, and it has nothing to do with him. And that's kind of what happened to Jeremy in that sequence. Now, a lot of times the plus-minus will even itself out, and you'll get some positive plays that are like the opposite of the ones I just mentioned. But this is why plus-minus isn't always the best statistic in the world, and you have to look at it in context. I made a note here. This is again, it's the middle of the first, saying that Jeremy is playing under control and very calm. Again, he is playing the way that the team wants him to play, and I'm glad that he's made an adjustment to that, because that's how he's going to get more playing time. And as I said, it will help him as a player. It will help him to become a better player, to play in that type of style. Now, I thought that Jeremy got a steal in the middle of the first against Kemba Walker. Kemba lost the ball, and I could have sworn that Jeremy stole the ball from him, but they didn't give him a steal. But even if he didn't get a steal, he caused the steal. For whatever reason, Kemba took his eye off the ball or was looking at Jeremy. Well, I don't know what it was. All I know is that Jeremy was guarding Kemba Walker, and Kemba Walker lost the ball, even though Jeremy didn't get credited with the steal. Then I made a note that said James Harden won't give the ball to Jeremy. Well, that's how it's going to be. And again, look, James Harden's a great player. He is. He's a top 10 player in the league, in my opinion. So I don't want to, I'm not going to run down James Harden in all these videos, but we will point out things. I mean, this is again, but Jeremy knows that it's going to be like this, and so you have to adjust to it. That's just the way it's going to be. Late in the first, Jeremy hit the three-point shot, or a three-point shot, from about 35 degrees right of the top of the arc. As I said, he was in great rhythm. I can't remember who passed him the ball. Shot looked great. I told you in the Memphis game, Jeremy's misses on his three-pointers were close misses. That means his shooting is getting better and better and better. Well, tonight those misses were makes, and it was nice to see that. Jeremy then, after that, had a nice drive and kick. A drive and kick means you are the offensive player. You drive towards the basket. You're dribbling the ball. You drive towards the basket. You go into the defense. You draw the defense towards you. Everybody's got to collapse on you a little bit, because if not, you're going to score a layup. And then you kick the ball out. You kick the ball out to shooters on the perimeter who are usually going to be wide open because the defense is focusing on you who drove the ball. I don't think anything happened with that. Like, it didn't lead to a shot, but it was still a nice play by Jeremy. It's the type of play. Jeremy puts pressure on a defense. He forces the defense to react to him. He's so aggressive that's what they have to do. And he's going to get better and better at this too. He's starting to get more like Steve Nash would do, which is drive into the lane, kind of keep your dribble going, and just the defense ends up like following you around, like a bug following a light or something. If you were carrying a light, it's kind of following it. Well, that means all the rest of the guys on your team are going to be open because the defense isn't thinking about them. They're thinking about you. And Jeremy's getting better and better at this. Now, he still has a ways to go with it. He still has to improve his ball handling a bit more so he can get even better at it. And again, he does need to cut down on the turnovers when he's in that part of the court. But he's definitely improving upon it. Excuse me. Then I made a note that James Harden took a contested three-point shot, meaning defender was up on him when Jeremy was basically wide open to his right. But again, that's going to happen, so just got to live with it. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm just looking over my notes here. Patrick Beverley re-entered the game with 1 minute and 12 seconds left in the first quarter, and the Bobcats were up, 19-14. And I may note Jeremy played terrific defense on a particular sequence against Ramon Sessions. Then Jeremy had a hockey assist that he passed to Omri Caspi, who then passed it to Francisco Garcia, who hit a three-pointer. Then Jeremy drew an offensive foul on Ramon Sessions, meaning he got Ramon Sessions to run into him on offense. He planted his feet, kind of set his position, and Ramon ran into him. Just, again, great defense. Then Jeremy had another drive and kick on offense, he passed the ball to Omri Caspi, who then passed the ball to Patrick Beverley. Patrick Beverley, unfortunately, got a travel on that play. He moved his feet before he started his dribble, which we saw Jeremy do that in one of the preseason games. I can't remember which one. It's a very, very common play. And finally, to end the quarter, Jeremy forced Ramon Sessions into a miss at basically the buzzer of the first quarter. So after one quarter, Jeremy had 3 points, no rebounds, no assist. He was 1 of 1 shooting from the field and 1 of 1 in three-pointers. So his only shot was a three-pointer, and that's what it was. Patrick had 5 points, 1 rebound. Kemba Walker had 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Ramon Session had 3 points. So as we said, Kemba Walker got off to a fast start in this game. Look, that may have been why Kevin McHale took Patrick out. He may have wanted a certain defensive result, and if it didn't happen, he was going to take Patrick out. And I don't know, but that could have been what happened because of the hot start by Kemba Walker. At the second quarter, Jeremy began the quarter on the court with Patrick. So I believe James Harden, was still out, at that point in time. And the Bobcats had brought in, I can't remember the guy's first name, his number 44, and his last name, I believe, is Taylor. I think that's who Jeremy was guarding at this time as a shooting guard. And Patrick was guarding Ramon Sessions at this time. Well, Ramon Sessions went right to work against Patrick Beverley very early in the quarter and got a bucket, I believe, pretty quickly against Patrick. So, like I said, this wasn't Patrick's greatest outing, but it is his first start, so let's go easy on him. Jeremy then had one of the 3 mistakes that I mentioned earlier. He went up for a left-handed shot. He drove from right to left into the lane, and it just wasn't a good shot. He didn't get a good angle on the defender, and it's a type of shot that he's going to want to refrain from taking in the future. Just like we say about James Harden, don't force shots. Don't take shots that aren't good shots, that you don't really have an angle on if you don't need to take them. It's one thing to take a shot when it's late in the shot clock and you have to take a shot. But if you don't have to take a shot, don't force shots. And Jeremy can definitely improve upon that. And I'm sure that he will. And again, this was the only mistake he made in this game in terms of shooting. So, good. Patrick then got a double dribble, which means that you are dribbling the ball, then you stop dribbling it, then you start dribbling it again. That is a violation. You can't do that. It wasn't totally Patrick's fault. I think he was looking to make a pass. I can't remember who the man was. I think it was Chandler. And then Chandler I don't think Chandler went to where Patrick thought he was going to go to. So this is what made Patrick stop his dribble. Then he started dribbling again. You can't do that. Jeremy then drove to the rim, and he got fouled. He hit 1 of 2 free throws. And then Jeremy again played excellent defense and forced another miss by the Bobcats. I made a note here that Jeremy and Patrick were alternating at point guard, meaning neither one was handling the ball all the time. They were kind of switching it up, and that's fine. Then Ramon Sessions got by Patrick pretty easily on a drive, but Omer Asik kind of helped out. He basically saved Patrick on the play. And that's good. That's why having good defenders back there like Omer and like Dwight are key. Because, as I've told you guys before, the way that the rules are in the NBA, nobody can guard anybody, particularly out on the perimeter when you have fast guards. It's nearly impossible to stay in front of quick guards in the NBA with the way the rules are now. So you need good defenders behind you. And Omer's a great defender, and so is Dwight. That's good. Patrick came out of the game with the score 25-23 Charlotte, 8:47 left in the second quarter, and I believe that was the last that Patrick played in this game. So obviously this was around the time when he must have hurt himself, I would think, and then that was it. I also think at that same time, James Harden was in the locker room getting treatment on his back, which I think was hurting him since earlier in the day. Jeremy then had another drive starting from the right-hand side of the court, going to the left. Excellent hard drive, hard attack, got fouled, and it was with his left hand. It was going for a lefty layup and driving with his left, which he's, again, clearly improved in terms of his ball handling and ability to go left. Drew the foul, hit both free throws. As we said, Jeremy's game is getting better and better. Last year or 2 years ago, he couldn't go left, supposedly. I mean, last year he couldn't supposedly go left. Well, he goes left a lot now. So there are people that say it's like they don't think Jeremy can improve. Well, he's clearly improving, and it makes sense that he could improve. As Jeremy said himself the other day, look, I know what I have to work on. Because he wasn't playing very much, he didn't know what he had to work on. You have to get a feel for what your strengths and weaknesses are against NBA competition. If you don't do that, you don't know what you're not good at. And now that he had a chance because he started all the games last year, now he knows what he had to work on, and he's worked at it. And it's clearly improving. I made a note at this point in the game, and I know somebody mentioned this in the comments, and I have to agree with this, and I got to be honest about this stuff. And there are people that don't want me to say this stuff, and I'll talk about that later in the video, but Clyde Drexler, who is one of the commentators for the Houston broadcasting feed. It is Bill Worrell, Matt Bullard, and Clyde Drexler. I love Clyde Drexler. My name over Clutch fans is Phi Slamma. The reason why I'm Phi Slamma is because Akeem Olajuwon and Clyde Drexler played at the University of Houston in college, and the team dunked so much that they gave them the nickname like they were a fraternity, and the fraternity's supposed name was Phi Slamma Jamma. That's why I'm Phi Slamma. So I love Clyde Drexler. I'm a huge Drexler fan from college days and from when he played with the Rockets and won a title with Akeem. I really thought that Clyde could have been a little nicer to Jeremy tonight. And it seemed like almost every time Jeremy did something good, Clyde brought up Patrick Beverley. So there was a point in the game where it was like they were shooting free throws, and Jeremy shot 100% free throws in the preseason. Yeah, Patrick Beverley shot 92% too. It was almost like, hey, let's not pump Jeremy up too much, because he's not the starter anymore, and Patrick is. Again, I'm not in Clyde Drexler's mind. I'm not a mind reader. But that's the way it felt when I was listening to it. And I must say, it didn't make me really happy when I heard it. Okay, going in the middle of the second, Jeremy, again, going right to left, meaning starting on the right-hand side of the court and coming to the left-hand side. Went from right to left, had a great, just, again, right to the basket, came underneath, went under the hoop, and came out on the left-hand side for a little reverse. It just really had it going. And these were smart plays. Now, right after that play, Ramon Sessions did beat Jeremy on defense. He scored a basket and got an and one. And right after that happened, Clyde Drexler came in and said that Ramon Sessions is too quick for Jeremy. And that annoyed me a lot because Jeremy, I think, had already done a good job against Ramon. And Ramon had done well against Patrick Beverley already. But I didn't hear Clyde Drexler say that Ramon is too quick for Patrick Beverley. So these are the types of things We've pointed this out, whether it's reporters saying stuff about Jeremy's fans. If you do this type of stuff, people are going to call you out for it. It's not like it's not like nobody else is seeing or hearing the stuff that I'm hearing or seeing. So it's like the broadcasters or the reporters need to know this. Just because you say something doesn't mean that nobody else is going to disagree with you. And if we're all seeing the same thing and people don't think that you're calling it straight, they're going to tell you that. Which is, I know that's happened to a lot of Houston Rockets media people on Twitter. You could sit there and say that you're shocked or whatever about Jeremy's fans. Well, guess what? If you go on and say stuff that doesn't seem fair towards Jeremy, people are going to tell you that. The media is not what it used to be, where the media people have a magic wand and nobody else can say anything or do anything. Now we're in the internet age and the social media age, which means everybody can say something. So if Clyde Drexler is saying stuff that's maybe not super positive about Jeremy, but he's not doing that about Patrick Beverley, then people like me are going to say something about that. And that's the way it is. That's how it goes. And again, for me, I have to say it. Regardless of what anybody thinks, or if people think I'm not a real Rockets fan because I said something. That's nonsense. I say something because I try to be objective about it. I'm not here to toe the party line. I'm here to tell the truth the way that I see it. So if I think somebody's doing something and it's not fair, then I'm going to say it. I still like the team. I've liked the team for a very long time. Liking the team isn't the same thing as being a puppet who will only repeat good things. I'm not a puppet. That's not my function. And again, since John and myself don't work for the team and we're not covering the team, we're not going to be puppets. Because there's nothing for us to gain from being puppets or being mouthpieces. That's just not what, that's not our deal. At least not right now. If I was covering the team, it might be a little different. Because then you kind of have to do that. But we're not covering the team. I'm not in Houston. I'm not covering the team. I'm not interviewing people. So I don't have the same parameters. I don't have the same constraints. So that's where we're coming from. At this point in the game, Jeremy was bleeding from his chin. I believe it was. He must have gotten hit, probably on his drive. I did not see it, but he had to leave the game with 7:19 left in the second quarter and go and get the wound treated. I think he went back to the locker room, and I can't remember how they treated it. Probably put a bandage on it, something like this. Then at that point in time as well, Aaron Brooks came in for Jeremy because Patrick, I believe, was in the locker room getting his hip or his rib injury looked at, or he had been in and he had just come out to the bench, something like this. He was not in the game. I'm just looking over my stuff real quickly. Okay, Jeremy came back out to the bench, so he had gotten the wound treated, and this was late in the second quarter. I made another note about something Clyde said. I don't remember exactly what it was, but again, I thought it was something having to do with Jeremy Lin that I wasn't really thrilled that he said. Jeremy came back into the game with 1 minute and 49 seconds left in the first half, and at that point, Houston was up 43-35. Then somebody was shooting a free throw for the Bobcats. I can't remember who it was. But I saw Jeremy was talking to the guard Gerald Henderson, I believe it was, from the Bobcats. And I mentioned this on Twitter while I was waiting to make the long video. Jeremy seems really popular with opposing players. Like, everybody wants to talk to him, it seems like. So you see this a lot during the games, and you see it after the games. Now, this happens with a lot of players. I'm not saying it's only Jeremy, but, like, it seems to happen a whole bunch with Jeremy. And that's good. What that says to me is that players like Jeremy. And people from different teams, like assistant coaches, they like him. The word is out. He's a good dude. Now, are there some people that are talking to Jeremy that might think, well, maybe Jeremy can do something for me? Maybe Jeremy can help me become more popular in Asia? Maybe. But when you see the conversations, you see Jeremy like smiling and stuff, it doesn't seem like that. It just seems like these guys like Jeremy. And Jeremy's a good dude. And the word gets around. I mean, it's a small fraternity of these players. So guys know each other. Guys talk about other guys. So, I'm sure there's a lot of people that like Jeremy. Why wouldn't they like him? He's a good guy. So, guys like that. So it's kind of good to see. Now, Jeremy was falling out of bounds. He was kind of in the corner on the left-hand side of the court on offense. Someone had passed him the ball, and he was in a really bad spot to catch it in. And he passed the ball, and it became a turnover, and I thought they were going to give him a turnover for the play, but they didn't. And I thought that was fair because it was more the fault of the person that passed him the ball, which is to say, Jeremy was given the ball in a position where it was almost certainly going to end up as a turnover. And so the official scorekeeper, I thought, did a good job not giving Jeremy a turnover there. And so, look, keeping statistics of a game, some of it's exact, like how many points you scored. But things like turnovers and assists aren't always exact. There's a little bit of wiggle room in there. So it's important to have good scorekeepers for situations like what scorekeeper is the person that keeps track of the statistics. It's important to have a good scorekeeper, and I thought the scorekeeper did a really good job there. Then Jeremy had a blown assist. He passed the ball. It was in transition. I cannot remember who he passed the ball to, but it was, I think, the person that received the ball missed a layup. And no, it wasn't Omer, I don't believe, which we know that's happened before. Then Jeremy drew a foul against Ramon Sessions, and Clyde said something again. Clyde said, well, he's going to go right, meaning Jeremy. In other words, he's only going to drive to his right, except Clyde, he drove to his left, probably more than he drove to his right tonight. Now, look, Clyde's a good dude, but why? Why are you saying that? It's not even true. But it's like you're running down your own player. I don't. Whatever. It's just, again, that annoyed me when I heard that. Then Kemba Walker had a really nice play against Jeremy. He made a move, and he faked like he was going to shoot, did a ball fake. That's what's called a ball fake. Like you put the ball out in front of you, you show it like you're going to shoot or you're going to make a move. Jeremy jumped up in the air, and Kemba ran into him, and that became a foul. So that was, I believe Kemba got both of the free throws on that. And then we went into halftime. That was basically the end of the half. So at that point in time, Patrick still had 5 points, 1 rebound, and 1 assist in 10 minutes. And again, that was all he was going to play in this game. Jeremy had 8 points, no rebounds, no assist, and no turnovers at the half. Kemba Walker had 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. Ramon Sessions had 8 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist. Now, so with Kemba, I think like 10 of those points or so Well, 8 of them, I believe, came against Patrick. 2 of them came after the James Harden turnover that led to a layup. And then 2 of them came against Jeremy on the foul that I just called. Ramon Sessions, 8 points. A couple of them came against Jeremy, and I think a couple of them came against Patrick. And then a couple of them came against Aaron Brooks when both Patrick and Jeremy were out of the game. So what I'm trying to say here is nobody was scoring very much against Jeremy Lin. And that his defense was terrific. It was really, really good. Okay, early in the third, Jeremy started. He was out on the court for the third because Patrick was out for the game. Again, Jeremy got a blown assist. He did another drive and kick. Great pass out to James Harden, who missed a 3-point shot from about 35 degrees to the left of the top of the arc. It happens. You're not going to hit every shot. Early in the third, Dwight Howard already had 20 rebounds. He just dominating on the rebounds. It was tremendous. Then Jeremy had another blown assist on a pass to Chandler Parsons in the left corner for a 3-point shot. So as I said, Jeremy could have had many more assists in this game. It just did not happen that way. Then Jeremy got hung up on a drive going to his right, but he was able to get out of it. What I mean by hung up is you start driving the ball and you don't have anywhere to go. You either know you can't get your shot off and or you stop dribbling. So then you're caught. Sometimes you'll get caught up in the air, which is not a place you want to be in. So Jeremy does have an issue with this. That is something that happens to him a fair amount. So he wants to continue to work at it. He does need to keep working at that. And this is one of the areas of his game that he can continue to improve. And while he's working at it, I'm okay with him playing the quote-unquote system point guard mold of where he doesn't always have the ball in his hand, and he is a spot-up shooter. As he continues to improve more and more on not getting hung up, on not getting turnovers, on getting more shots around the rim, then he's going to get the ball in his hands more. And again, that's going to help him. Forget about McHale. McHale's a bad guy. This is going to help Jeremy as a player. So, good. That's good. Middle of the third quarter, Jeremy had another blown assist, Chandler Parsons, for a missed 3-point attempt. Then Jeremy had terrific recovery on defense. Kemba Walker was set up, I believe, in the left corner. And Jeremy had moved away from Kemba to help out on defense, to play help defense, meaning you're playing somebody that's not your man. You're trying to double team or kind of help out another guy guard his man. A lot of times when Jeremy does that, he'll lose sight of his man. And then that means your guy gets wide open shots, or he gets the ball and he gets to drive right to the rim. Well, the Bobcats player that Jeremy was helping defend passed the ball back to Kemba, and Jeremy recovered to get on him immediately. It was awesome. It was definitely some of the best recovery defense I've ever seen Jeremy play. He's not great at that, but it just totally stifled Kemba, and Kemba had to pass the ball out. And Kemba wanted to shoot the ball, it looked like, but Jeremy didn't let him. It was terrific. Then Jeremy had a great drive, draw, and dish, meaning you drive to the basket, you beat your man, you draw the defender of another man because you're right near the rim, and so that another defender is going to stop you or you're getting a layup. And then you dish the ball to the man whose defender left him to help out on you. Jeremy drove in, drew Dwight Howard's man. Jeremy dishes the ball to Dwight Howard, dunk. And this was late in the shot clock, so Jeremy had to make something happen, and he did. This is what I'm saying. So many times we've seen Jeremy drive in and get turnovers. Well, they don't have to be turnovers. They can be plays like this. And he's improving it. He is improving it, and it's good. With 5 minutes and 9 seconds left in the third quarter, Jeremy still had 0 turnovers in this game. That is terrific. That is excellent, and I'm really, really happy to see that. Late in the third, Jeremy hit his second three-pointer of the game. It was on the left-hand side from about 80 degrees left of the top of the arc, meaning very close to the left-handed corner. He caught the ball in transition, in rhythm, and buried it. So, what have we seen? We've seen Jeremy can't hit three-pointers, except now he can hit three-pointers. We've seen Jeremy can't drive to his left, except now he can drive to his left. This is where we're going, folks. Now that Jeremy is healthy and he's working on his game and he knows what he needs to work on, it's starting to come together. I want Jeremy to start like most of the rest of you do that are watching this video. But I don't care as long as he continues to improve. He still is probably a couple of years away from being the player that he can be. If he gets to that place and he doesn't start any games between now and then, I don't care as long as he gets there. Because when he gets there, he's definitely going to be starting. If he can get to that point, and I'm sure that he can, everything will take care of itself. Everything will take care of itself. So it's not an either-or choice. It's not he either starts and he doesn't get to the place as a player, or he doesn't start and he does get to the place. No, he can start and get to the place. But I'm less concerned with him starting than him getting to where he needs to be as a player. So as long as that continues to improve and he gets closer to that position of being where he needs to be, I don't care if he starts, because he'll be starting soon enough if he gets there. Then Jeremy drew a nice foul against Kemba Walker. He was in transition and he basically did a spin move. He spun his body around, going towards the basket, drew a foul against Kemba. It was nice. Then Jeremy had his second miss of the game. I think his only other miss of the game. He went right to the basket. It was a great-looking shot on a layup, but he missed it. And I'll tell you the reason why he missed it was because he was in a position where he wasn't sure if he should shoot a straight layup, meaning just try to put the ball right in the basket, or if he should shoot the ball off of the backboard. So he was kind of in between, and he wasn't sure what to do, and he ended up kind of putting a half-cocked shot up, and it didn't quite go in. And that happens. You're not always in the right position, and you're confused. Should I lay it up? Should I put it off the backboard? That's what Jeremy did, and that's basically why he missed the shot. Then Jeremy was he was just starting to heat up. Like he was quickening his pace. He started playing with more pace at this point in time, and he drew a foul against I'm not sure who. Oh, Josh McRoberts. That's who it was against. It was a dead ball foul, meaning that Jeremy was not in the act of shooting, but the Charlotte Bobcats were over the limit for fouls in a quarter, and so Jeremy got free throws anyway. And he made one and missed the other one. So I said, look, Jeremy was pushing the pace now, but he was still playing under control. This is what we want him to do. This is what we want him to do, and he's doing it. It was great. Then, very close to the end of the third quarter, Jeremy had his first turnover trying to get the ball to Dwight Howard. Again, I did not see that, so I can't comment on it because I was taking notes when it occurred. I don't know what it was. Then Ramon Sessions was able to get a pretty easy basket against Aaron Brooks. And look, Aaron Brooks is a relatively small guy. Pretty small. And Ramon Sessions was like, Ramon's not a big guy, but he's too big for Aaron Brooks. And there's a lot of guys that are too big for Aaron Brooks just because he's not that big of a guy. And again, this is one of the advantages of somebody like Jeremy because he's pretty big for a point guard. And so guys are not going to very often be able to overpower him, although small guys will be able to out-quick him. And so that's kind of the trade-off. Okay, at the end of 3 quarters, Jeremy had 12 points, 1 assist. Kemba Walker still had 12 points, meaning he didn't score at all in the third quarter against Jeremy, basically. And Ramon Sessions had 10 points, meaning he got 1 basket in the third quarter. So Jeremy was playing terrific defense and terrific offense. This is it. So again, his stats weren't really big because his usage rate was down. He wasn't getting a lot of plays run for him, and guys were missing assists. But he was playing awesomely. And that's what we want to see. That's why it's important to understand the game and watch a lot of games, because even the stats won't tell you everything. Again, if a guy has a low usage rate, plays aren't being run for him. He might not put up numbers, but he could still be dominating. And Jeremy was, I'm not going to say he was dominating, but he was playing great on both ends. And it's excellent to see that. Then early in the fourth quarter, the announcers were saying that James Harden was struggling in this game. And at this point, James's numbers were not good. They were poor. His shooting was like 2 of 11 field goals, the 5 turnovers. His numbers were not good. Like, I think his efficiency was actually negative. And so now the announcers were saying that James was having a tough night because his back. And I believe that. I'm sure that was the case. I just wish they would have said that about Jeremy and his knee last year. Because I don't remember people making excuses for Jeremy when his knee wasn't doing well. That's what I'm talking about. It's not that the announcers don't like Jeremy, but they're kind of protecting James a little bit. Well, nobody seemed to protect Jeremy last year. And they didn't protect him this offseason when we would write stuff about, hey, guys are talking about Jeremy's stats, and they're not even talking about that he came into the year injured. So if you're going to talk about it with one person, it'd be good if you talk about it with everybody. That'd be really nice. And Ramon Sessions was just, at this point, honestly, was starting to school Aaron Brooks. Aaron Brooks just couldn't stop him. The best point guard defender for the Rockets tonight was JLin, in my opinion, and clearly so. Clearly so. It wasn't even close. Jeremy came into the game with 8 minutes and 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter. In the middle of the fourth, he had a pass to Francisco Garcia, who missed his jump shot. So again, that was another blown assist. Then Jeremy had a nice layup. He drove right to the rim from the right-hand side, shot a little layup off the glass, and he came up limping, hobbling. I think he got kicked in the back of the calf by Ramon Sessions. It was accidental. I wasn't trying to do it, but that did happen. Then I made a note in the middle of the fourth. Again, Jeremy playing terrific defense tonight, and he absolutely was. Then middle of the fourth, Jeremy had his second and final turnover. Jeremy was in the lane or at the very top of the lane, I think, and he was trying to get the ball to James Harden. I think it was a bounce pass. It was very, very close. It almost worked, but it didn't quite work because the Charlotte defender who was guarding Harden saw what was happening, and then just basically got the steal, got the turnover. And Clyde Drexler came in and said that Jeremy can't make that play at this point in the game. Well, yeah, I agree with that. He's right about that. It's hopefully we'll hear that about other players when they can't make plays late in the game as well. Late into the fourth, Houston was starting to pull away at this point. They were up by 14 points, and it was pretty much decided there. Jeremy, as I said, he did not get to play a lot of point guard tonight, meaning he didn't have the ball in his hands a lot, but it doesn't matter. Again, this is the way the team wants him to play. He played great playing that way. Then Jeremy had a dish to Francisco Garcia in the left-handed corner for a three. And then Jeremy finally scored a layup right at the front of the rim with the shot clock winding down. He again had to make something happen, and he did. And that was very close to the end of the game. So, final stats for Jeremy: 16 points, 2 assists, 5 of 7 shooting, 2 of 2 3-pointers, 4 of 6 free throws, and 2 turnovers. The summary is Jeremy was outstanding in this game. He played about as well as you could realistically expect him to play. His offense was good. His defense was great. And he was able to get numbers even though his usage rate was not high in this game. It was not high. Jeremy was playing the role of a system point guard in this game. Spot up. Harden handles the ball. Again, I'm okay with that because it's going to help Jeremy's development. Jeremy definitely has confidence in his three-point shot, much more confidence than he had last year. That is clearly the case, and all of the work that he did is paying off. Jeremy's defense was outstanding in this game. Outstanding. Both as a primary defender, meaning one-on-one, and as a help defender. This was maybe the best defense I've ever seen him play at any time in his career. It was great. Jeremy showed tonight that the strong performance that he put in during the preseason was for real. This is not a fluke. We are seeing clear improvement in his game. Clearly, he has improved. And there's room for more improvement, and I feel confident he's going to continue to improve. Now, we're going to have to wait and see how Patrick is feeling on Friday. Hopefully he'll feel good and be ready to go. I don't know how severe the rib injury is, or if it's a muscle pull. I don't know how quickly it will heal. So Patrick might start on Friday, but he might not be able to play much, or he might not be able to play effectively. So we're going to have to see about that. I just don't know. I know Patrick said after the game he will play on Friday, but is he going to start? Is he going to be able to play very many minutes? I don't know. We're going to have to see that. It is currently 2:32 a.m. early Thursday, October 31st, 2013, here on the East Coast of the United States, which means it is 2:32 p.m. on October 31st, 2013 in Taipei, Taiwan, and it is 7:32 a.m. in Central Europe. Again, I want to thank Gary Chen of Lin Garden for the artwork you're looking at. Tremendous. Thanks very much. Let me quickly talk about the Clutch Fans thread that was about me. I had no idea that thread was getting put up. I do think I know who started the thread because I think they tried to come and leave a comment on one of the videos that I had to remove because he was calling other commenters idiots. I can't prove that it's the same person, but I would be stunned if it weren't the same person. And look, that's fine. People people are allowed to express themselves. I just don't want people calling other people idiots and dissing Jeremy and his fans. That's not what these videos are for. If you want to diss Jeremy and his fans, there are plenty of places you can do it all over the internet. Now, the thread about me and Clutch Fans. I know people are upset. People are fans of Jeremy were on there and they're defending me and all this stuff and people taking shots at me. I don't care about that. Don't worry about that. First of all, I'm a big boy. I can handle myself. I made several posts in the thread and I was fine. I expressed myself. And I'm not mad at the person who started the thread. If he wants to say stuff about me or she, let him say it. That's okay, the same way that I make these videos and I get to speak my mind. And I said that in the thread. I'm not worried about anybody saying whatever about me. Let them say it. I don't have to prove myself to anybody. And not everybody's going to agree with me and not everybody's going to like my style. If you read the thread, people ripping on my voice, ripping on this, ripping on that. I'm boring. That's okay. That's all right. People are going to have an opinion the same way that I have an opinion. And good. Great. As I said, I'm not, if you do this type of thing, if you make videos, if you are working in media, people are going to comment on you. People are going to have an opinion about you, the same way that I have an opinion when I watch JLin. So I expect that. Now, some people are going to be mean and some people don't like Jeremy, so they're going to take shots at me because I like Jeremy. So what? You know, I know a lot of you guys were upset. It's almost like, oh, the bad guys are winning or something. Don't worry about it. This is just how it goes. I expect that that's going to happen. I'm not worried about it. I'm still here. I'm still me, regardless of what anybody says about me. That's why I try to tell you guys when it comes to the doubters and stuff, don't overreact to them. They're just trying to make you feel bad. They're trying to get you irritated. Well, if you don't get irritated, then they don't have any power over you. So if everybody over in a thread about these videos and Clutch Fans runs me down, so what? Am I going to stop making videos because they don't like my voice? No, of course not. I think some of you guys were more upset about it than I was. I don't care. That's the way it is. That's what I said in the thread. People don't. I expect people are going to criticize me. But okay, cool. I'm criticizing people, so I'm probably going to get criticized too. That's fair, and I'm okay with that. So don't worry about it. It's all good. Finally, I know a lot of you guys have left comments on the Rockets Facebook page and different things. Look, I totally support that. I've told you guys before, make yourselves heard. Go to Clutch Fans. Go to other sites. Tweet people on Twitter, reporters. Let them know how you feel, but please just try to be respectful about it. Now, I know it's not easy, and you feel like some of these people are putting you down, putting Jeremy down. They're not being fair to Jeremy. They're trying to maybe classify all Lin fans in one fell swoop, which is not fair, painting everybody with the same brush. But that doesn't mean that you have to do it too. if you go in and you're cursing out people, that's not going to help. It doesn't make Jeremy look good, and it doesn't make Lin fans look good. Now, again, I'm not telling anybody what to say or what to do. Everybody's got to do what he or she feels that they need to do and need to say. So I'm not trying to prevent anybody from saying anything. I just advise you, keep it reasonable. If you don't keep it reasonable, then it's easier for your opponent to make you look bad. And we talk about, I talk public relations, and I've done stuff with PR meaning public relations. One of the things you learn is, one reason why PR is important is that if you don't look good, and I don't mean look in terms of how you appear physically, but if your image is bad, or if you cast yourself in a poor light by what you do, then it's easier to marginalize you, because then you become the crazy Lin fan, and then people can push you aside more easily. So what I'm saying to you is, you will be more effective lobbying for Jeremy if you are reasonable. So that would be my advice to you. You want to say something about it? You want to let people know how you feel, that you don't think Jeremy's being treated right? Awesome. I would just tell you, try to do it in a civil way, in a restrained way. Don't curse people and all this stuff, because the more you are civil, the more people will have to take what you're saying seriously. And that's it. That's the easiest way I can say it. Okay, the next game is this Friday in the United States, November 1st, against the Dallas Mavericks. The game will take place in Houston, Texas, and it will take place at 8 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States, meaning the game will be played Saturday, November 2nd, 8 a.m. Eastern Time. 8 a.m. in Taipei, Taiwan. Again, I don't know who's going to start. I don't know how Patrick's going to feel, so we're just going to have to see and figure that out as when the time comes. We'll probably know more tomorrow in terms of how Patrick is feeling. And look, I hope Patrick heals up well. I'm not going to sit here and root for Patrick to be injured so Jeremy can start again. Let's be classy about it. Hopefully Patrick will be fine, and we'll go from there. Jeremy just keep playing well. Let's go from there. Okay, your comments below, thumbs up, thumbs down in this video. We encourage you to come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, which has over 2,500 members and counting. You'll find information about that in the video description below the video player. You'll also find information about how you can come and follow us on Twitter for the account about these Jeremy Lin videos. Additionally, in the video description, you will find information about this game, box score, game highlights, and a game story. Once again, I am Paul Villarreal, the NBA expert. Thanks a lot for watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 Jeremy Lin YouTube fan channel. Great game, great win for the team, great performance by Jeremy Lin. Look, this is it. Jeremy has played, honestly, he's played probably his absolute best as a Rocket in his last 2 games because of how he played. I'm not saying his statistics were the best ever, but he's playing the way they want him to play and doing it really, really well. So I'm thrilled. And I'm ready to move on to the next game, regardless of whether Jeremy's starting or not, because if he keeps playing like this, everything's going to take care of itself. And that's it. And that is it. So, hope all of you are having a great night, a great day, wherever you are around the world when you listen to or watch this video. Take care of yourselves. We will talk to you again soon.